Okay. So in the last lesson, we learned that you can solve a quadratic equation by graphing it. And then what do you look for in terms of solutions? You look for the x-intercepts, right? The places where y equals 0, right? So we graph this function, and then we look for the special case where y is 0. But y is 0 on the x-axis. So like how many solutions do you see in this problem? How many times does it cross the x-axis? 2 times. Now, last time, all those problems we did solved by graphing, right? You had to kind of do this process, second, trace, to, left bound, right bound, guess. Sometimes, like this time, they actually show up. It looks like they're going right through the whole numbers, 2 and 4. And in the table of values, you can kind of see that's true. At x equals 2, y equals 0. At x equals 4, y equals 0. Right? So sometimes it's useful to use the calculator, and you don't have to go through that process. You'll see most of our answers just right there by looking at it. Okay? So that one had 2. Okay. How many times do you see it touching or crossing the x-axis here? It looks like it's just one time, right? It looks like it's coming down and it's touching the x-axis, and then it goes back in the same direction. Now, if you solved this by factoring, you would have said 0 equals, and then you would have found the two numbers whose product is 9 and the sum is -6, and you would have said -3 times -3, right? So x minus 3, x minus 3. And both of those give us the same solution, right? It's 3 twice. In fact, you could write it as 0 equals x minus 3 squared, right? So the reason why it doesn't go through the x-axis like the last one is because it's coming from a factor which is squared. It doesn't change sign after the 0. Right? Because when you square something, it keeps the same sign. It's always positive. Okay. So that one looks like it has one solution. It's actually that one solution is repeated. Okay. Now, the question is, what happens when we get something like this? We want to solve this quadratic equation by graphing this function. And we graph it, and we look for x-intercepts. And what do we notice? It doesn't cross the x-axis. Okay. It doesn't mean that there's no solutions. It means the solutions are not real numbers. Because if they were, they would show up as crossings of the x-axis. Okay, so we have to come up with a way to solve for those solutions which are actually not real numbers, and that's what this lesson is about.